What's going on, everybody? This your boy Doc Holiday. We back with another HBCU live, HBCU OverDrive live. I always messed it up, y'all. But again, make sure that you like, comment, share, and most of all, subscribe. Become a member of the hottest HBCU show that's on YouTube right now. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what it is. Today is Tuesday, so you know we do it. It's HBCU Tonight. I'm not gonna play that theme music right now, but I'm about to bring my guy, Mr. Brian, all the way from Canada.
Yay, yay.
What's going on? What's going on?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good,
Listen,
man.
I know one thing. You're Swac, but I might not be Swac. But what is Swac?
I actually told my wife I had an idea. I said I was gonna put that on the shirts as a hoodie. It's gonna say who is Swag, and then on the back it's gonna say HBCU OverDrive. But
Hey, that's not a bad idea. But I think Coach Prime beat you to it.
what's popping, Solo? What's popping? What's popping, man? Everybody, make sure you come in, like the stream. But yeah, man, I done had a busy day today. Went and did some Ubering today. So you know, pretty much, I am basically in the house for the night. I ain't trying to go out tonight. I'm just doing what I do. But yeah, man, I I've been looking at all the stuff that was going on, and I know what most people are on here for. They want to know, they want to know what's going on, what's up. They want to get my 2 cents. They want to get my 2 cents on what I think about what I thought about on Saturday. With basically the post game. It really is the pregame antics. But I also going to get into the first thing. What's that?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just setting my my headphones on. But no,
Okay.
Go ahead. You're 100% right. I'm just going to follow your lead.
Okay. So the first thing we're gonna talk about, man, is that pregame brawl against Southern versus Prairie View. Now, if you have been living under the rock, if you haven't seen that video, oh my goodness, they were going, them boys were going blow for blow. They were going blow for blow on Saturday. And this is right before they even put pads on, strap it up, put the pads on. Like those boys act like they was either in a boxing ring or in a WWE, because like I seen punches being thrown. I seen somebody getting kicked in the chest. It was a lot of things, man. It was just a lot of things that was going on that was going on Saturday. So my whole thing is we just gonna go ahead. I'ma just go ahead and play the video of what happened, man. And it just, this just surprised me. Now I'm talking about, you just look at it. Just look at it. The dude in the white shirt just wolf talking, just woofing at the mouth. I'm talking.
No juice.
Ooh. See, dude just come in and just clean somebody's clock out.
Oh.
Hey, y'all chill.
Ooh.
That was too much stuff going on right there.
Wow.
So now the first thing I'm gonna say is this is what I'm gonna say with this. Prairie View had all that fight before the game, but they ain't had that fight during the game.
They blew their load.
Just think what I said. Prairie View had all that fight before the game, but they ain't had that fight during the game. During the game, man, you just seen them get ran over. Like basically Southern came in and took their lunch money and told them just, they deboed. They basically deboed them. Like, tell me. You know what I'm saying? Tell me, like, you had all that fight in you. And you didn't, you know what I'm saying? You didn't put up no type of fight during the game. Like, you got blasted by 32 points on Saturday by pretty much one of your biggest rival. Really, that is your biggest rival. I mean, that's your biggest rival right there. Hold on. Been having a problem with this camera, but we're gonna get that settled. But that's your biggest rivalry. And you had no type of fight. Now, when I was in school, 98, Southern and the wifey told everybody to make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Tonight's going to be a show. Get on here and subscribe and listen. How you doing, Miss Holiday?
So she on here, but man, like literally, you had no type of fight in you during the game. You had none, none whatsoever. I didn't see I didn't see anything on Saturday between them.
You know, you're 100% right. I can correlate this. I'm going to bring it back to when I was playing hockey back in the day, and we used to have our pregame warm-ups. You know, we'd go on the ice and we'd skate around. And there was several times when I was playing junior hockey here in Canada that there'd be a brawl before the game, and then after you get back in the dressing room, you're so fired up. You know what I mean? You're so fired up because you're emotionally, like, you're pumped up and you just want to go out and really play. But like you said, PV got fired up before the game and didn't keep that fire in the game. And I think that fueled Southern even more. That when they went back in the locker room, they're just fired up, and coach don't even have to give a pregame speech before that because the players already are pumped up, they're fired up. Now that maybe the coach might say is, okay, we got to play with controlled aggression and go out there and play and go, whip some, open up a can of whoop, you know what I mean? Whoop up. Yeah. And so I think that's what happened because Southern smoked them.
Yeah, man. It's just that like, to me, I felt like you should have saved that for the field. You had to save that for the field. You cannot go into a game where you're leading the division on that side of the conference, and you can't go into the game like that and expect for you to, you know what I'm saying, not come out successful.
Doc, what could have happened also, in that little fisticuffs, maybe a couple of them got hit and they said, you know what, we can't beat these boys.
Well, if you looking at that video, Prairie View has some they had some hitters on their team.
Yeah.
They couldn't hit nobody on the actual field, but they had some hitters before their game started.
But the guys that were in the white t-shirts, were they players or were they support staff?
Hey, they look like players. I don't think they were support staff. They look like players. Like they look like they could bench press about 375, 400 right now. but what I'm saying is, like, you had all that fight before the game, and now when you playing the game, you laid an egg. You laid an egg. That's all it was. You laid an egg. You know what I'm saying? Southern exploited it. And the fact about it is, you got to understand this. This game, you got your old ball coach came back to Prairie View. He know what your tendencies are. He know their quarterback not going to be able to sustain drives by passing the ball. He know that. He the one who recruited him to come to Prairie View in the first place. But now, with that fight coming out, and there's got to be all over social media, the commissioner might have something to say about it.
He should have something to say about it.
He's gonna have something to say about it. Now, this ain't, like I said, this ain't the first time that Prairie View and Southern got into it. What up, HBCU band talk? This ain't the first time Southern and Prairie View got into it. Miss Ivy too, how you doing? 1998, Prairie View and Southern marching bands, Marching Storm and the Jukebox, got into it on the field, and it was. You thought what I showed you was bad. That fight between the Jukebox and the Storm was worse. And I show it to you. It was bad. I'm talking about. It was bad to the point where the commissioner stepped in, and it was Dewar Sharp. He stepped in, and he basically suspended both bands. But let me go ahead and share this again. Everybody, the White says, make sure you like the stream and become a subscriber and share it with people so they can subscribe also. So now I'm gonna show you this fight. This fight happened in 1998. And HBCU band talk, you should know about this one because this one was all over nationwide. But let me skip through this. So now this is what happened right here. And it's something basically, if you a band, if you played in a band, you're not supposed to march through somebody's rank. You're not supposed to go through nobody's ranks. It's just like you was in the military. And it was like, and usually Prairie View, I just with the band, Prairie View use both sides of the field. So as they exiting, they walking through the ranks, but oh my God, when they went to brawling and you seeing these kids run across the field, it was a whole melee. And this game was over at Lamar. Lamar didn't even have a football team at the time. So they basically, and as you can see everybody's running to the other sideline. This game was, and yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Solo. They was basically all dudes.
This is worse than Drumline.
That's Brian. That's way worse than Drumline.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about girls over at PV getting hit with trombones and trumpets and euphoniums. Somebody getting hit with cymbals. Like, yeah, that was bad. That was bad right there. So at that time, I remember the commissioner at the time, Dewar Sharp. He basically suspended both. He basically suspended both bands. Prairie View broke the rule. They went up to they had to come up to Dallas the next week because that was the Grambling that was the State Fair Classic, and at that time, um, that's what they used to get their money from, and they couldn't get their money from it, and they couldn't miss it because they was obligated. And at the time, Swac wasn't gonna pay for them missing that. They wasn't gonna pay the price for that.
Mrs. Body's in the house.
Miss Body, what's going on, Mrs. Body? Mama Body in the house. So it was, that was, yeah, they had levied some whole penalties. Now, like I said, these schools had they had bad blood. What's going on, Leslie? They had bad blood for the longest, and they they pretty much kept it cool. But you also got to realize too, from the game on Saturday, you got to I'm gonna tell you, remember, everybody remember that knew about it last year. Prairie View went down to Southern's homecoming and beat the brakes off of them for their homecoming. So Southern been had this bad blood. They have been had this boiling in them since last year, since they homecoming last year. And I guess they got the scrapping before the game, before the pregame, when the pregame started. And it all
Yeah,
came
but
down
Coach
to
Dooley was the coach last year in
Dooley
Prairie
was
View.
the coach last year at Prairie View. He brought that. He pretty much brought majority of that same team minus the quarterback because they had Juwan Pass on the team, and he took them down to Baton Rouge and beat the brakes off of them at their homecoming. And some of those players, most of those players that's on Southern, remember that, they talk noise. Everybody talk noise. They talk noise on Twitter. They talk noise on Instagram. But you know what? It was just crazy. It's like they I guess they had to let something loose. And still, like I said, Prairie View had all that fight at the pregame, but they had nothing. They had nothing to scratch with during the game.
The thing
Point
that
blank.
we don't want is to have perception that is filled by ESPN and other media outlets to have this perception of HBCU, because right now
Correct.
HBCU at its highest height, and so we don't want them always just talking about what happened at Prairie View Southern and also Jackson State and State, because you know what I mean. I was watching the show clips of Undisputed, and
Undisputed.
where with you know what I mean, Shannon Sharp and Skip Hateless, you know, was just definitely doing his thing and saying, well, he agrees this and that, and Shannon's bringing up we can talk about that later, but Shannon's bringing up the narrative about Prime leaving again.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you like this. Now that's what we gonna transition into that now. We're gonna go ahead and transition to that. And like I said, it's the shove scene around the Swac. And basically the aftermath of it. So now, this has been it's been weeks basically because first of all, you put us as your homecoming. You put Jackson State as your homecoming, right? That's wrong. That's the wrong thing that you want to do. Now, if you wasn't there last season and you didn't see what happened last season, you remember what Jackson State did to somebody on their homecoming. They put 60 on them.
In Alabama.
In Alabama. In Alabama. It probably wasn't in Montgomery. It was in Alabama. They felt, in some ways, you feel offended. You'll feel, you know what I'm saying? You'll feel offended. And I don't blame Prime one bit about feeling offended that you're gonna use basically me, period, predominantly to be, you know what I'm saying, the attraction to help sell out your homecoming game. And I understand most people said that the stadium has been sold out because they did sell it out with Tuskegee. That that was that's the Turkey Day Classic, which from what I heard was their actual somewhat homecoming, but they don't have a traditional homecoming. So basically, they did it last year. They did it this year. It just fell in the books that Jackson State was the opponent that they had for homecoming, and my whole thing is, hope you can write a check that your ass can't cash.
But
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but the business side of it, Doc, is this: if I'm a home team and I have mediocre crowds, I'm getting JSU in there too to fill up the seats. To build the revenue. Because all eyes are me. That's a great recruiting tool. It puts more money in the coffers, so they can do more things for recruiting. But to go to the extent that Coach Robinson, I just think he just he just went way overboard.
So now y'all know. I mean, y'all know that this all started with the coaches, the coaches call, which is every Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Y'all know basically, and Prime had something to say. He said, like, look, yeah, this is, but he didn't say you using us as he didn't say this is a money game. He said this is like a money game.
And he said it was brilliant.
And it was brilliant. Now, don't get me wrong. It like I would want to play in that stadium too. Like literally, I would want to play in that stadium. That stadium is beautiful. I like the aesthetics of the stadium. I like it that is built, is in the ground, it's dug in. But I also like that they got the second tier the way that it is that the fans are on top of you. I like it like that. I like that. And you want to sell it out. My thing about it is don't get mad. Don't get mad about what's going on. All you should do is check your pocketbooks. At the end of the day, check your pocketbooks. See how much money you made for that day, for that weekend, pretty much, basically. Or probably that week, because you probably had some, if you're going doing homecoming, you got a lot of stuff that goes on during the week.
The hotels, the food, the restaurants, everything.
Yeah, you had to accommodate all that.
You should never be offended unless you take offense.
Right. And I feel like Prime didn't take offense. I feel like Coach Robinson, he felt slighted a little bit. But now we're gonna get into the pregame.
But just let's go back 1 second. How can he feel slighted when he flies out to UCLA, gets $400,000, $400,000,
No, he
gets
got five.
Molly,
He got almost
he get,
600,000, but he had to spend about half of it just to get the team and the band out there.
to get Molly up and hugging on Coach Kelly. Come on now.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It is.
Jeez.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's something that I can't. I can't fathom to see. Because if you beat me like that, man, I wouldn't want to hug you. I'd be want to
I'm
try
waving
to.
from the other side. I'm waving as I'm going off the field. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm looking at um.
Somebody says Coach Kelly didn't trash talk. You don't have to trash talk when you're paying somebody $600,000 and you beat them like they stole something.
You
You know what
really
I
don't.
mean?
You really don't. I'm about to pause this, but um. So this is from the pregame show. So now, like I said, and this is what Ken Clark told us. He told us, he said the team didn't get there till about 12 something, almost 1. The game
Correct.
started at 2. The game starts at 2. They didn't have too much time to prepare, to get their minds in order, to play this game right here. This game was, what I'm saying, this game was going to be hard hitting because Alabama State does bring a tenacious defense with them. And I'm not even gonna trip on that.
Oh, their defense played well. Got to give credit where credit's due.
And both defenses play well. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take nothing away from them because of the fact that the game plan that you sent out there was brilliant. You take Shadur and get him out of his element. You basically take him. You basically bring 5, 6, 7, and get him out of his element. Move him off from his spot, and basically, you know what I'm saying, you harass him. You cause havoc. And it's not to cause havoc with the offensive line, it's to cause havoc just to move him around. We know Shador can move around all if he wants to. Like, that's no problem. It was just the fact that you had to get him off his spot. If you
Yeah, he
don't get
couldn't.
him off his
Yeah,
spot, then
he'll pick
he's
you apart.
he'll pick you apart. And now basically this game was a test of my offensive line about to be mean and nasty, and my running back Sivion Wilkinson is about to be a dang dog out there. It wasn't about finesse. It wasn't about speed. It wasn't about the wide receivers. It was about the offensive line getting down and dirty, and the running back being becoming a dog. That's what this game was about.
And also, I
Um,
think also the more usage of the tight ends.
and more uses of the tight ends. And I like that. They opened it up. So I'm gonna get into it. We gonna show you what happened as far as with the pregame show. And like I said, shout out to the pregame show for giving everybody the coverage. And see, you got T.O. there, Hall of Famer, he an Alabama native. He from down the road, Phoenix City.
HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you went to Savannah State?
Nah, he didn't go to HBCU. He went to UT. He went to Chattanooga.
Okay.
I had to pause that because I don't want to get copyrighted, y'all.
But isn't Chattanooga HBCU?
Nah, nobody recruited him like that. So he went to Chattanooga.
Okay.
So like I said, I had to turn the sound off because I ain't trying to give copyright, y'all.
Savannah State, which where Shannon Sharp went. Okay.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp.
Thank you, AP.
Because they paying to be a fan. I understand the referees can officiate the game. Even the people, just in case you get hurt, they don't stand by. I even understand the coaches because they coach. I understand the cheerleaders, they have responsibility, and the band is for your entertainment. But there's one common denominator that ain't paid nothing. We've been paying ever since last spring. And we paid all summer. We've been here all summer. We paid all fall. Then the last 4 games we have paid. Then it's the 5th one. And we know the price. These folks gonna invite us to a homecoming, and they don't understand you got to pay to play this game, the left hand. All we ask for is a little respect. All we ask for is just to do what we earned. Just give us what we deserve. You didn't want to give us tickets. You didn't want to give us parking passes. You didn't want to give us nothing. So therefore, we got to go take it. I don't need to say no more. Give me my darn theme music.
See, you know, with that, like, who don't want to play for a coach like that, y'all? Tell me. Tell me, who don't want to play for a coach like that? Y'all tell me, who don't want to play for a coach like that? I want to play for somebody like that. I want to play for somebody like that. I won't want to play for nobody else. I want to play for somebody like that. Point blank.
And the advantage of playing with Coach Prime is that he's been the person that's been recruited. He's been the person that has sons being recruited. He's seen coaches come to try to recruit him. He's seen coaches try to recruit his sons. And we don't even have to talk about the Yellow Jacket because that just amplifies everything that he's done in the NFL. One of the greatest athletes ever to play sports.
Yep.
Period. You know what I mean? So the thing is, and him being the person that he is, that I would want my son to play for a man like this because not only he's going to teach him to be a man, he's going to guide him in the right directions, and he's going to understand that you know what you gotta have character, you gotta have principles, and you know what. And the thing is, he's looking out for your best interest of your child, and you know what. And being a football player, that's a bonus. That's icing on top of the cake. And if you're a cornerback, you're just learning from the best. He's giving you just a plethora of information. He's giving you a cheat code. Why not?
Yeah. Who don't want to play for a coach like that, y'all? Like, I would want to play for a coach like that.
And we can't forget about DT.
Yeah, I ain't gonna forget about DT. Can't forget about Dennis Thurman. And so you know when you get something like that, like it's like you. I would want to have my kids play for somebody like that, regardless. I want to have my sons to play like that, regardless. So that was a pregame, and y'all know, like I said, y'all know, during like right before the game, everybody knows that he goes out and he walks around the field. He does a little exercise around the field. He walks
That's
around.
his routine. That's his
routine. And don't get me wrong, I understand I understand, you know, you in somebody else's house. you in somebody else's house, and the thing about it is that when you're in somebody else's house, you respect their house regardless.
But we have to look at the circumstances, like you were saying. They were late getting there. You know what I mean? So instead of being an extra hour late, where not as many players were on the field. You know what I mean? So and doing this is not that he's disrespecting the house. He's doing his routine, even though they were in the end zone. If he didn't go through them, he wouldn't try to go around them. You see some of the players started backing up. They weren't respecting his space. And you know what? Instead of doing instead of to curse at a person of his elk is just ridiculous. And that shows leadership on Robinson's part too, because I still haven't heard him. They said he gave an apology, but he apologized maybe to his alma mater, but I haven't said he apologized to Coach Prime. I haven't heard that part.
I don't know if you'll have to apologize to him, but I feel like he apologized for the words that he used and his actions during his post-game press conference. But
and he also said he stuck by his word. So usually when somebody's angry or drunk, they what they say is what they believe.
What they believe in, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I respect him more and say, listen, I stood by my words, but only I'm going to apologize for my actions of my players because I condone that. Then I'd be fine with everything else. If, whatever you said, being Swac and he's not Swac, I'd be fine with that. But stick,
right.
Be a man of conviction and stick by your words. Don't be all of a sudden trying to turn to a politician and trying to and flip it over now. It takes away from your genuineness. You're not authentic.
So this is him walking in the stadium. Like you said, he only came. They got there late, so that's he dressed up to work out to get some exercise in. So y'all remember, everybody got to remember, he's still coming off the surgery with his leg and his toes been, some of his toes been amputated and stuff like that. So he like 54, 55 years old. So he got to keep a routine as far as trying to make sure he stay in shape. Something that I might need to do. Now this is what I don't like right here. I can understand about the fans booing. Yeah, you a fan. You a fan. You can boo all you want to.
Now you see him starting to walk towards the back. You see? He's going towards the back. And see players are starting to move back. You can see them getting the screen. You see some players starting to go to the back.
And then you got players cussing at him and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's just wrong.
So when you hear something like that, man, you gotta be like, look. You gotta be like, look. I don't care what y'all do. I don't care how you do it, but you ain't gonna cuss me out. You ain't gonna get, you ain't gonna get on me. Bring Sean up in here. What up, man?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
We doing
Hey, Sean,
good.
how you doing, my brother?
I'm hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. Thanks for asking. I think y'all on to something. When you start to see him move back a little bit as he's walking through, right? He initially, when he starts out, he's trying to avoid them.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you pay attention, if he got off the bus late,
yeah,
he's usually already on the field 2 hours before game time. And he done walked around the whole field, getting his steps in, getting his legs ready. You know what I'm saying? Like he doing all of that already.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't with his security when he do it. They ain't even out there yet. He out there with his
troopers out there though.
Yeah, but listen, that let you know it's about timing.
Mm-hmm.
It's been about the timing. He's late. He trying to get loosened up himself, but it's also a mental thing for him because it's ritualistic for him. He's been doing it for his whole career. So listen, man, that ain't the bad part, bro. That ain't the bad part at all. You know, the players trying to get. First of all, if I'm a player and I know that I'm going against a Hall of Fame coach who was one of the greatest players to ever have played the game and has oftentimes shown his connections, I couldn't disrespect the man.
They disrespect him like that.
Amen.
I couldn't disrespect the man. Now, did he do something to me personally? You see what I'm saying? No, I mean, so all this fell between the lines.
A rhetorical question, basically.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you know, you ain't got to cuss the man out. You be like, hey, you on the wrong side, coach. You know, something like that. You feel me? There's a level of respect to it, but at the same time, you let them know, like, hey, you ain't welcome over here. You know what I'm saying? You out of bounds. You in foreign territory right now, as if he don't know.
I mean, but like I said, you talk about Coach Prime. Everybody, where did Coach Prime go to school at?
Florida State.
Who was his mentor at Florida State? He got two of them. Who his mentors?
Bobby
the
Bowden.
Defensive coordinator and Bobby Bowden.
Yeah.
All right.
Mickey Andrews.
Andrews. What did Bobby Bowden used to do when he go to opposing stadiums, to opposing team stadiums? It was a ritual that he used to do. He used to call it a sod game. He would cut a square of grass
and put in his pocket.
And take it back to Tallahassee with him.
Yeah. Deion Sanders mimicked that. Coach Prime mimicked that. You think about his first season, what did he say? He said, everywhere we go, we need to cut a piece of grass out, take it with us.
Yep.
He's trying to carry on a tradition that he saw Bobby Bowden do. You're right. He's mimicking his head coach.
He was
fond of.
Like he loved like if you really think about it, everybody remember last season we played ULM, right? Terry Bowden was the head coach over there.
Yep.
He loved Terry Bowden. Terry Bowden loved him like his own brother, son, uncle, nephew. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's basically like family to them. So he's just doing something that he's been doing for the longest. He's been doing something that he saw his coach when he was in college do for the longest. You know what I'm saying? You pick up stuff when you get older. You pick up stuff. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, and I'm gonna put me in for example. When I lived with my uncle, like I said, I lived with my uncle from 11 to I was 18, 19 years old. I see my uncle get up early in the morning to go to work. Well, first go get my grandma drive from Cedar Hill all the way to Oak Cliff to get my grandma, take her to work, and then he drive from Oak Cliff all the way to freaking Allen and Plano to go to work on a site. And he did that every day for about 6-7 months. Didn't complain, didn't deter from it. You know what I'm saying? He get sinus headaches, he get, allergies and stuff like that. Ain't shit stopping that man from going to work. And it's the same thing with me. Like, look, I get up early in the morning. Sometimes I get up earlier than my wife if her alarm don't go off. And basically I'm getting myself ready for work. I might not drive to work, but I'm taking public transportation and I have a routine. Every time I get into work, I do the same thing every time I be at work. And it's a routine. And it's the same thing that man was doing at the beginning of the, before the game even started. It's his routine. Everybody has a routine. Don't nobody like to be bumped off their routine.
We are creatures of habits. That's 100%.
We are, yeah. When you creases hat, yeah. AP, I'm from Dallas. I stay in Irving right now, but I'm from the Cliff. But we are creatures of habit. Like I seen, you know what I'm saying. Even with my grandma, like I said, my grandma, same thing. Grandma used to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, make her a cup of coffee, turn on the TV, and watch the morning news. And do the same. She do that every day. It could be a damn Saturday. She's still doing that, and she ain't got to go to work. And so when you see that, and when you see that repetitiveness every day, it, like you said, it becomes a part of you.
And the thing is also, Sean, you hit it on the head. It's just, it was all about timing because, it just was almost like a perfect storm for everything to happen, you know what I mean, during the course of the week. And the bus gets late to the game. I think the game was supposed to be at 2 o'clock. I think Coach Prime said they got there 10-1. So everybody was rushing.
Even Shador was rushing.
And you see Shador was off at that the game. You know what I mean? He wasn't really on, even though he still had over 300, almost 400 yards in passing. I think it was over 400 yards. Correct me if I'm wrong.
300.
Was it 300? So over 300 yards in passing. He still was off. You know what I mean? Everything, they were off because when you get to a game, it's just like you were all saying, we're creatures of habit, especially athletes. You know what I mean? You put, if you're used to putting on your sock on the right foot, putting your pant leg on the right, you're going to continuously, if you're sitting beside somebody in the locker, you're going to sit beside him. On the bus, you sit beside a certain guy. You're going to the washroom, and you're having a dump. You know what I mean? You're going to sit beside. Everything is about a routine. It's about a routine. And you know what? Superstition is so high in sports that, guys don't want to break a routine. And Coach Prime has been doing this for years and years after years, and following what he's seen, like you guys are saying, from Coach Bowden. So he's doing the same thing that he's always done. I understand the players saying, might even say, "Oh, you're in the wrong end," but even there, my perspective is they had nothing to say to him. Do what they had to do when they seen Coach Prime started walking. Some of them young players, they're young. We got to say they're young and impressionable. And instead of taking the mindset, but you got to understand they're immature also. So they're not going to have the same mindset as we're going to have. So the thing is, they backed up and what they're trying to prove instead of saying, "Hey, this is a guy," you know what I mean? Let me say maybe hey to him. He recognized me. When they have those HBCU combines, Jackson State has them at the vet. So do the right thing instead of doing, you know what I mean? Because what Coach Prime always preached, character, and a lot of these players definitely didn't show character.
And so we're gonna finish up the video because this tells everything that I'm showing basically pertains to what happened in the post game. And
yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil.
Ooh, my page gonna be flagged for this. I don't care. I got it.
No,
it won't. But yeah, you just gotta like saying when he walking, he's doing a routine. This is what he does every game, and he does that even at practice before he gets in the before he gets in the car in the golf cart to do what he got to do. So it all leads, like I said, this all leads to him.
Stop! No! Hold on! Stop! Now he is by JSU players that are kicking the ball, so he's on the other end zone at this juncture. If the video continues to play, he don't even stop and talk to his kids. Watch.
Yeah, because he's basically going through his routine. And then once he finished, but see, the thing is, once he finished walking around the field, the field, then he go talk to his kids. if you really, you just go about doing, you see every time he talks to his kids when he comes around the field, he goes talks to him like he
play. But you didn't take it off. All right. So look, real quick, man. It's just this simple, right? What are we really talking about? Like Tempest Flair, and like I said the other night, this wasn't what happened at the press conference. All of it was just a snowstorm for Eddie Robinson.
Right.
The effort that him and his coaching staff put in, the hours, the time, like they invested so much into this Jackson State game, more so than they have any other game. This was this was a statement game for him. Like, we beat them, forget our 3-2 start, we'll be 4-2, and we'll have all the attention on us, and then we can control the Swac. However, that was not going to be the case.
Right.
I want to say something, but I really don't want to. I'm gonna just say it like this. All right. So here's the thing. All right. Okay. Eddie Robinson was, in his response, was emotional. Okay. Their fans can be fans. They can say whatever they want to. The people who are trying to be apologists for Eddie Robinson's behavior are emotionalist apologists, right?
Right.
So what I mean by that, focus on the facts. Remove Eddie Robinson and put your mama there. Remove Eddie Robinson and put your daddy there. Yep. Remove Eddie Robinson and put your grandmama there. Yep. Remove Eddie Robinson and put your granddaddy there. Let's be more specific. Remove Eddie Robinson and put your grandfather there. What is the rule? If that's your grandfather walking around the field like that, right? What are you teaching your kids?
We always teach them respect our elders.
So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Football, the push off and all that ain't nothing.
No.
That will happen from time to time over the petty stuff.
It's football.
But it's football. But it's the calling the female water girl a bitch. It's you know what I'm saying? Cussing out the other, you gonna cuss out other players. That happens. Talking trash, that happens. Like, people go hard in between the lines. All is fair in between the lines. But when you walk away from the lines, it can't be that type of energy no more.
Right.
But what was said before the game at a coach to the water girl, that was crossing the line.
That way crossing the line. So, and like you said, go ahead, Brian.
That has to go to the onus of the coach, because I'm sure he's not teaching his kids this, and he's probably not condoning it, but he has to speak on it when he hears about this, and he hasn't. And so that shows a lack of leadership, in my opinion. Because when was it though? Was it when when Aubrey Miller, remember, when the spring season hit the player, coach went and apologized to the coach about the behavior, because he always preaches character. And
he sent Aubrey to the locker room.
He sent Aubrey to the locker room. And he threw Aubrey out in front of everybody because he needed that.
So that shows leadership, and that shows, listen, I stand by my word, and what I say goes, and there's no ifs, buts about it. He even benched Shiloh and Nugget last year because they weren't doing the right thing. I think it was a couple of, they showed up late to practice or something like that. They didn't start. So he's always talking about character. He's preaching about character, and he sticks to it. But to see Coach Robinson, I don't know if it's his inexperience as a coach that he doesn't understand this part, and he's still learning as to growing into being a coach. But to call young ladies the B word and saying derogatory stuff to Coach Prime, he has to correct that. And until he does, it's not for me to respect or disrespect him. It has no onus on my life. My life doesn't change one iota. But the fact is, he needs to do that to be a leader of men.
But see, hold on before we go. Hey, make sure y'all like the stream and become a member of the show, y'all. Make sure y'all like the stream, become a member of the channel.
Don't forget about the Cash App.
Cash App. Let's bless the channel. But yeah, my whole thing about it is though, like this. When it came down to it, you know, Sean, I had already said it. I said it before over the weekend. When it comes down to it, when they calling the coach, you know, call the coach out his name, when they call the girl out of her name, out of their name, if that was your mama right there, you won't be talking like that. You wouldn't be talking like that. If you got a mother or a grandmother or aunt, you know what I'm saying, that was like that's like that came from the old school, like your list will be on the ground. Like point blank. Your list will be on the ground. Because it's just a matter just the saying that my whole thing is if somebody talk to your mama like that, or if like that water girl was your sister, or your niece or your little cousin.
2-piece. They get a 2-piece free.
Get a 2-piece. I don't care what anybody talking about. Well, that ain't the situation. No, that is sort of the situation. Like, you're gonna get 2-piece. And hope you don't get a pepper to go with it.
If Coach Prime wasn't Coach Prime and it was a whole nother coach, the game wouldn't even be sold out. And the game wouldn't even be on ESPN.
Sure wouldn't.
So you wouldn't even be on TV, and it wouldn't have no relevance outside the fact that it was your homecoming, and it wouldn't have been sold out.
That's it.
You had the perfect opportunity when Jackson State come to town to elevate potential drag status, because all eyes are on Jackson State and the talent that they actually have. So someone like Bubba, who had 18 tackles and all these other different statistics that they said that he had, even though he got trucked and grabbed the old boy helmet.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It happens. But that's a game that he could put on film and say, I played against a high level offense like Jackson State, and I was able to run sideline to sideline, meet in the hole, get pressures, have some tackles for losses, tip passes, yada, 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 yada. He was able to say that by far was his best game.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't forget, it was the scouts from the Buffalo Bills at the game.
Yeah.
So now some of them kids might not have that opportunity because, like you said, it's not just what you do. Like but they ain't there to look at them.
They
look at them. I know they looking at some other players. But I'm just saying, like, you when you do stuff like that, like, even though yes, they're looking at your attributes as far as your physical attributes, they also want to know about what kind of character that you have.
Who was at JSU today? Who was at JSU today? Think about it. Who was at JSU today?
I didn't even see it, man, because I was driving.
Okay, all day, John Lynch. John Lynch.
Wow.
49ers GM. Yeah. Wow. Not a scout.
But the GM.
The freaking GM of the 49ers. Someone who goes to the podium for his team, his organization, and puts in the ballot to draft a kid. The person that calls you on your cell phone and says, hey kid, how would you love to be a San Francisco 49er? Yep. That guy.
Oof.
Bro, go look at the draft for the 49ers and find out who drafted the players. It is John Lynch. It is numero uno at Jackson State practice. 3 days after the ASU game. 49ers then been there. They scouts had been there before, earlier in the season, but he came to see it for himself.
Yep.
There's scouts at every practice at JSU.
Yep.
But to have the GM, Sean, that's the speaking volumes.
I mean, it'd be fun. It'd be cool. It'd be crazy if Stephen Jones came down there. or Jerry.
Who wants to play for the Cowboys?
But hold on. Let me give y'all my point. Let me give y'all my point in saying it. Let me give you my point in saying. Now, the reason why I say that, right? So I said that to say this. The connections that he has is what you don't want to lose an opportunity of obtaining, because if you're a dog and you played against him and he gonna shout you out, he gonna hit you on the helmet, he be like, hey, you played a hell of a game, kid. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if I could, put in a word or two for you down the line. I'll be able to do that. Do you see John Lynch at Alabama State?
Nope. No. He ain't gonna be down in the dump.
Do you hear about it?
Nope.
No.
Do you hear about scouts at their practices?
No.
Not really.
Have we heard that there were scouts at their practices?
Not about the practice, just at the game. Other than that, nope.
What I'm getting at is that he, like you said earlier, B, you said that they hold, the little USFL, whatever the trials, HBC, all of that stuff is gonna come through Jackson again.
XFL.
He gonna have all them people there. He gonna give you opportunities to come on in there and show you stuff. Now he ain't gonna hate on you. That ain't what he gonna do. He ain't gonna hate on you. No. But golly, man, listen, bro. When you getting this type of attention, you need to take advantage of it. You ain't gotta act like you gotta fake hate me. What you fake hating me for?
Yeah. And
what you fake hating me for?
And on top of all that, what we're mentioning, Alabama State got a bag.
Yeah, they got a bag for the whole weekend. That whole week, they had to get they had to get at least about $4-5 million out of that whole weekend. Probably about 2 or 3 Saturday, just on Saturday alone.
But I don't know if you guys heard. I was watching 1400 with Ken and Zoe, and Ken let out in saying some of the 5 stars that were at state wanted to make an unofficial or official visit to JSU. So, wow, because you see the
go to Lil Dion's page and pull up the video where he out there with John Lynch in the golf cart.
All right, I'm gonna go to it.
Just so that people don't think we just talk. I don't think anybody understands the severity of that visit. I don't think nobody listen, you have a GM. John Lynch does his draft, bro. He relies on his sources, but he makes the call. He get the people on the phone and he asks the people, do they want to come play for the 49ers? He makes that decision. Ultimately, they can go back and forth or whatever. But if he sees a kid and believes in the kid and he's like, hey, I went down there myself. I watched the film on them. I watched them in practices. They had they had an intense practice. I seen these guys going at it with each other in practice. And I like what I saw. I like what Deion Sanders is doing down there. They got some kids down there we may be interested in. Either this year, some of them coming out, or even next year when some of them cut out, or the year after that. They got some kids. We need to keep an eye out on what they got going on down there. Right. That's the opportunity.
Go ahead, Brian.
And also add on to that, Sean, and they know that they have character.
Facts. They're seeing it. But the best thing Deion Sanders did was at the beginning of the game where he said, look, we're not going to cuss nobody out. We're not going to talk no junk. We're not going to get in no back and forth, because he already knew what it was going to be. Like, they giving him that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? If they didn't give him that type of vibe early on in the game, he wouldn't have probably never had to say that. But it's just the fact that it just goes to show that he already was telling his kids before the game jumped off that we ain't even going to talk no junk. We just going to play some football. That's big, but you got to show that, because okay, hold on. So let's talk about, since he ain't Swac, real quick.
Oh yeah. I think that's most everybody.
You know what?
I got the video right here.
Hold on. Before you play the video, I'm gonna wait till you. Real quick. Since he ain't Swac, peep this. Deion Sanders is on the bag of the Cool Ranch Doritos. That's in stores everywhere. That's this week. That is this week. Deion Sanders announces docuseries on Amazon Prime. Yeah. That is this week.
Full part.
Yep. Deion Sanders' sons, Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders, is on the Google Chromebook commercial. That is this week. There is something else that they got going on that probably is coming out this week as well. So we just early on in the week, and we're talking about advertisements, commercials, and all of this stuff. And where did they shoot the video for the Google Chromebook commercial? Oh, they shot that commercial in his office on JSU's campus that's advertising Jackson State. I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead, bro.
No,
and also, Coach Robertson should get an assist for the great marketing campaign that Coach Prime took what he said he ain't Swac, who was Swac, that Deion just capitalized on it and got a T-shirt. So those are going to be out in the JSU area.
I'm gonna tell you, that was big news when you got Sway the remix guy do a whole damn minute and a half video, just with just that, and cut it up and put it out there. He put it out there for everybody. So
don't forget the comedian dude who be mocking Prime. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
put that back, quick dog. Yeah, he did the whole Eddie Robinson and Deion back and forth. You ain't seen it?
Oh, yeah, you talking about? I know you're talking about Lou Young.
No. Yeah, Lee Young. Whatever.
Young,
I think it's him.
I seen that one. I seen it he get all. It's the notoriety. It's the Prime effect. That's what I'm gonna call it.
And also, he's making lemonade out of lemons because everything negative that Coach Robinson, Deion just turns it around and shines a light on it, makes it positive. It's like in his press, he said, "I don't know why he's mad at him. Did he really think he's going to win? I don't know why he thought that."
But to me, I think he already had it in his mind. Like, look. They already, like you said, you already know what type of energy they were gonna bring. So we just go out there, you go out there, do your job, get it done, get it over with. We go, we go back to Jackson, point blank.
And I also think this was a great game for them to play, being a tight game and understanding not maybe playing their best but still prevailing. And for future games, and we got to give credit where credit. State their defense was solid. But there was a lot of home cooking too, as far as the refereeing.
You better put that back foot down, dog. You better put that back foot down, dog. You see that back foot right there, dog? You better put that back foot right there, dog. Oh, you be killing me, man. You be killing me, dog. You be killing me. Hey, but
play that video.
This was the type of game that they asked. That's the type of game that they needed. Like, I understand you want domination. I mean, and you could be dominant in a close game, And I feel like it was more a mental domination than of a physical domination.
Like I always say, you rather win pretty than lose ugly. Or win ugly and lose pretty.
Hold on.
Bruce, it's good to be down here at Jackson State. See you, Prime. Yes, Lord. That's awesome. Zoom in right there. What's going on? It's the man. He would knock your head loose.
See?
Bruce, it's good to be down here at Jackson State. See you, Prime. Yes, Lord. That's awesome.
Like, you, they don't get no better than that, man. They don't get no better than that.
Tell me this is not a great recruiting tool.
Everything that he does everything that he does when it comes to with social media is a recruiting tool. Even if you're on Twitter, I'm on Twitter a lot. You're on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you see his quotes that he put up there on Twitter, and like when you read it, it's like, damn, I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go out there and take on the day. And that's the type of person that he is. Like, you want to take on the day. But when it comes to who is Swac, man, to me, he Swac all day, every day. He might not got his degree and stuff like that. What?
Hit that comment. Hit that comment. Robert comment. Hit Robert comment. We got to deal with that.
Oh,
you got to deal with that.
What's
put it on the screen, because whoever reviewing this ain't gonna know what we talking about if you just put it on the screen.
Hold on.
What's Robert saying here?
It's right on. It was right above the one you hit.
Right here. Is this one?
Yeah. Stop. So let's clear the record. How many coaches do you know before they take a job talk about a conference or schools?
I don't know of any.
Not too many. Not really.
Okay, so where did Dion go to finish his
undergrad
education?
At HBCU.
Where did slow it down for me one more time. Where did he go to finish his schooling? Huh? You just said it. He went to a what?
HBCU.
And that was 2 years ago, right? That was before he got the job at Jackson State. Is that am I tripping?
Nope, you ain't tripping.
Right on.
But he never made. Did he tout that anywhere? Was he supposed to?
No.
He wasn't supposed
to. I know in some of his videos he do tout it. He does tout it that he did finish at an HBCU, but he doesn't do it in his everyday like interviews and stuff like that.
So again, what coaches talk about HBCUs before they are coaching at an HBCU? None of them do.
None of them.
Absolutely none of them.
You never heard about Coach Robertson saying about HBCU, and that's Alabama.
The real estate agent wasn't even talking about HBCUs. He was selling real estate as an alumni of Alabama State, where he walked on at.
Hugh Jackson didn't say nothing about Grambling until he got hired on that Grambling.
Ding 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 ding.
And when he was an office coordinator at Tennessee State.
Why does the standard keep changing and the goalpost keeps moving? Look, let's just keep it a buck, man. If you don't like the dude, just say you don't like him. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
You know,
winners always have haters.
You know what I always say, Sean? Haters got to do their job too.
Yeah.
And that's
he employs a lot of people, apparently.
He do, man.
Let's just go back to the Swac before the entrance of Deion Sanders into the Swac conference. Let's go back to that. What would y'all be arguing about right now? Well, I'm saying y'all, because I would have just been watching Tennessee State. That's it. So what would y'all be arguing about right now? Y'all would be arguing about the damn bands. Y'all would have been assuming that Alcorn is going to win the Swac again.
Yep.
Y'all wouldn't be talking about a Quill Glass. Y'all would just be saying, "Oh, a Quill's cool," but whatever. It wouldn't be none of these changes. Would you even see FAMU in the Swac?
Or Bethune?
Would they make a re-interest? So you have to think about life before prime. Was it the best?
Nope.
I wasn't even
The
watching
damn bands have taken a back seat. The bands have been restored to their rightful place during football at halftime, right? I mean, the boom and everybody still got to do their thing during the game and during possession changes and stuff like that. Absolutely, that's a part of the experience. That's what make HBCU football what it is today. But my thing is, when you got a product, the people showing up for the product on the field, not the product in the stands like they was before. Right. Before, people was just showing up for the product in the stands. Now it's like, hey, we got product. We got product in the stands. We got product on the field. We doing big things. You got to stand behind that. And it ain't just JSU. Yeah, they might be getting a lot of love and a lot of attention, rightfully so. They play their way into it, making the moves they need to make. But other schools who having a little bit of success that's out there 4-1, 4-2, 5-1, them schools should have their chest out too. They might not be in it like they need to be in it, but everybody else got swag too.
Like a Prairie View or a Southern or Alcorn, you know what I'm saying? Even you can go to even a FAMU right now in the Eastern Division, and Alabama State too. And that, don't get me wrong, yes, we did beat them, but don't get me wrong, Alabama State does still have a team that can be a pest in the Eastern Division.
Well, you know, if you don't hitch on, you're going to be left behind, and that's what Coach Prime has done. He's elevated the Swac. FAMU's have been elevated. Southern's been elevated. State has been elevated. A&M's been elevated. Prairie View, you know what I mean? They're doing the best, you know, and but they'll be imagine if the Valley had the resources with Coach Dancy. Woo, be scary. Because that man can coach.
What if Deion Sanders never took a liking to Coach Dancy or said anything about Mississippi State football at all? Would Mississippi State football even had that opportunity to get that?
Don't get them.
Valley. Would you think that Valley would have had that opportunity at all to get some of the stuff that they got thus far, even though it was on the leaning hands, or some attention paid to it about the field and all of that?
No.
Nah. Or even let's go to what we talked about last year. When Alcorn didn't have no trainers.
Who the hell said the Swac was built by Prime, bro? The Swac was built by who the Swac was built by, and the people who they call founders of the Swac wasn't even Swac. So what is your point about you even coming in here, Robert, and saying the crazy stuff that you're saying right now, bro? Because the truth of the matter is simple. It's simple. Swac was not built by Prime. No, it was revived.
Yeah, he definitely resuscitated it.
But let me tell you like this. I'm gonna give you a history lesson about the Swac. 1920. That's when the Swac was founded. Founded by 5 church schools and 1 state school, which is Prairie View. You got Bishop College, Paul Quinn, Wiley, Houston Tillotson, and it was one more. It's always on the tip of my tongue. 5 church schools, 1 state supported school, which is Prairie View. Look at it right now. The Swac has been in play for over 100 years. It is one of the oldest conferences in the United States. Behind what? The SIAC and the Big Ten. Like, it is one of the oldest conferences in the United States. We have been playing football, basketball, baseball, everything in this conference for over 100 years. The only one that's the original charter member of a Swac is Prairie View. Everybody else, we all came in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Some went left out, came back. You know, some was D2, came in. Like Alabama A&M was D2, we brought them in. Alabama State was D2, we brought them in. Private schools, Bethune, we brought them in. Like, if you really think about it, man, like I said, when it all started off, I'm gonna tell you the revitalization of the SWAC started off when the commissioner said we bring Bethune and FAMU into the conference. Second thing that came about was when Jackson State hired Deion Sanders. And when he hired, when Ashley Robinson hired Deion Sanders, the damn conference took off. It took off. Then you turn around and Bishop College, yeah. And then you turn around and you bring in, and they not even a SWAC, but just in HBCU football, Eddie George, who was pretty much just like Eddie Robinson Jr. He was in the business world. Then he was in theatrics. Am I lying or not? He was in theater. He was doing Broadway shows, plays. And HBCU football took back off. They epitomized that there was the rebirth of HBCU football.
And who was the first call that Eddie George called? Who was the first person he called?
He called Prime.
There
you
go.
He don't know about that. Prime been coaching since he left football. Y'all got to remember that. Since he left the NFL, even when he was doing his commentate, even when he was doing his job with the NFL Network, he always been a coach. He's been a coach for the longest. Like he coached his kids. Even his baby girl, Shalimar, played football under him. He coached basketball, coached baseball. He's been doing all that. It's not like, to me, I don't like how people saying, well, he don't know what he's doing in the SWAC or with the team and stuff like that. Hell, it's growing pains. Y'all remember, he was a head when he had Prime Prep Academy. He was a head coach of the team. He took over the head coach of the team because the original head coach left. He took over that team. He coached that team. How do I know? My cousins played for him the last year that they had the school open. The last year that they had the school open, they played for him. They closed down the school. He goes to another school in Dallas, AAA Academy.
Trinity.
No, before he went to Trinity, he went to another school, AAA Academy.
Okay.
He was there for like a couple of years. Then he went down to Trinity. Okay. He went to Trinity Christian.
With
he wasn't even invited by Coach Hart. Avion Kaysen, who used to play for the Cowboys and the Chargers, was the head coach for Trinity Christian. He brought him along as his offensive coordinator. When Avion Kaysen left to go coach another team, Coach Hart took over the team. Coach Hart was the defensive coordinator for the team. And what Prime do? He brought in Kevin Mathis. Kevin Mathis was being with him pretty much ever since where he went. And turned around and won 4 state championships. With not even just a star-studded cast. His running back the first 2 years was Maurice Washington. That goes to Grambling. His first 2 championships was with Shiloh Sanders, who played receiver running back, safety, cornerback, and was a return specialist. That earned him a scholarship to go to the University of South Carolina. And then the last two he won with Shador. And some of the players that he had on the team when he was at Trinity, guess where they at? Dan Jackson. You got a Amari Matthews was one of the running backs. He redshirting. You got a Kobe Paul out there. You got, like I said, Shiloh, Shador. You got a lot of his kids. Some of his kids are out there. You had a Jordan Williams. He was there for a while, and then he went back into the transfer portal. You got a Cam Buckley. He came from Cedar Hill, which is across town, which is my high school, is across town. He a grad. He came down there because he want to play for Prime. You got a Quay Davis that came from Skyline. Phenomenal athlete. He was supposed to go to the University of Texas. He got into some trouble. You know who is his parents? You know who his parents? Oh yeah, and Cam. I forgot Cam was on there too. His parents entrusted Prime to lead, to steer him and lead him the right way. Come on now, man. Y'all, some people act like he new to this stuff. He not new to this. He is not new to this.
You see what happens is when Prime came in, a lot of people just wanted him to come in and be like a church mouse. Prime said, no, I'm here to change the game. You know what I mean? God called me collect, and I accepted the call. And he said, I'm here to change the game.
But when
and
has
Prime and to elevate HBCU, not only elevate Jackson's GSU, to elevate HBCU, and some old heads and some people that are stuck in their ways, that's been stagnant for a lot of years, and he's upsetting the apple cart, are not happy. So
listen, man, take him out of JSU, put him on any other SWAC school. Do you hear the noise? Every last one of them that's talking that junk right now would shut the hell up.
Oh yeah,
you still.
That's how hypocritical they are.
If he was at Grambling right now, boy, what? You gonna hear
let's just use if he was at Alabama State. Do you hear the noise from them? No. If he was at Alcorn, no. If he was at Southern, no. If he was wherever the hell you want him to be at, if he was at your school, would you be saying the stuff that you're saying about him right now? The answer to your question is no. So it's just hate. A wasted emotion.
Yep.
If you want to shut him up, if you want to put him in his place, beat his team. That's why the whole SWAC turned into South Carolina State fans last year. Yep. Beat his team.
Yeah. And the thing is, Prime loves him. He loves it. He loves it. He loves it. And not just, like you said, he doesn't need to be motivated, but he loves it because he's been a winner at every level that he's been at. And you see, the thing that I'm totally amazed by is this. He tells you exactly what he's thinking. He's transparent to a fault sometimes. And in the interview today, he says, every team that plays us, it's their Super Bowl. He tells you this. So you know what? And people don't like hearing what he says. So the hate is there.
Y'all like the stream. Make sure y'all like the stream.
He works diligently. He puts in the time. You know what I mean? He's got a great team around him. As far as his coaches and stuff like that, they're doing phenomenal jobs recruiting. You know, I know Ken and I think Zoe, they recruit. You know, I bet Doc's even recruiting because I heard Doc. I was listening to Doc last night, and he's trying to recruit that young man from Delaware. So you know what I mean? So
I don't care what anybody says. I'm gonna recruit him. He gonna come down to 1400 Lynch Street.
So you know what? Everybody's on board, and like you were saying, Sean, what a better situation for any young man in this time right now that we're in to go to HBCU and Jackson State. It's like Coach Bruce says, it's lit.
Man, got this one from Amber. You want to hear a word? Is that Alcorn hired the first white Swac coach, and nobody didn't say a word. Why? Because they was winning. He came in and turned around the whole program. And then when he left for Southern Miss, guess who he brought it? Guess who he turned it over to? He turned it over to Fred, which was supposed to be rightfully his at the time. He turned it over to Fred. And Fred kept on the tradition, kept it on basically to win. He kept it up. But like nobody didn't say a word when Jay Hobson became the head coach of Alcorn. They were saying something when he was taking the team to the Celebration Bowl. He was winning the Swac and taking them to the Celebration Bowl. But nobody didn't say anything about him being an outsider. And when I mean outsider, I mean skin color outsider to coach a team in the Swac.
But nobody came in with the same gravitas as Coach Prime. But even I remember at the beginning of the year when they hired the OC. You know what I mean? I heard a lot of people on shows. How come they didn't hire a black OC? How come, you know what I mean? So Coach always says, I'm getting the best people for the job. And it's like, if we want diversity on one way, we have to show diversity on our side too. And I agree with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it was bound to happen. Like to me, you know, when Prime hired, like you said, we got Mike Markinson, who's the O-line coach. You got Jeff Weeks, who's the D-line coach. You turn around and you hire Tim Brewster as your tight ends coach and assistant to the head coach. Then you go get Brett Bartolone from all the way in Reno, where he was at, to coach, to be your OC. You go, then you hire you hire Mike Zimmer to be a defensive analyst. And he ain't got to be in Jackson.
Yeah. He's doing Prime a favor. You know, being an
analyst. Doing Prime a favor.
Yeah.
He's not even getting paid for that. He's still getting paid by the Minnesota Vikings.
Handsomely.
Hey, let me talk about this right here too. Let's talk about this. Everybody know, we all know how when coach when Jeff Collins got fired from Georgia Tech, Herm Edwards got fired from Arizona State. Who else got fired? Oh, Scott Frost from Nebraska. Somebody else got fired too.
Georgia Tech, you said.
Oh yeah, and then they was talking about who if they were gonna fire
the guy in
Brian
Auburn.
Harsin from Auburn. Let's put all the Coach Prime could go Power 5 right now. He's gonna be a Power 5 coach right now. Nope. Let's put all that to rest. Because yesterday, Matt Rule got fired from the Carolina Panthers.
Skip Bayless even trying to talk
guess who's on the top of his list? Auburn, Nebraska, Georgia Tech, Arizona State. They at the top of his list. Why? Because they're going to go back to see what he did when he was at Baylor and at Temple that turned those programs around. And really with Baylor, you really did too much turn the program around. You just took arts kids and try to grade yourself to play your brand of football. That's it. I stand on it. You took arts kids, you took Art Brown kids and told them to play your brand of football. Then when you left, The dude that your defensive coordinator is doing way better than you. You know what I'm saying? He doing way better than you. But I ain't gonna say nothing about that. So let's put those rumors to rest. Let's put those rumors to rest because I feel like Prime is still gonna be at Jackson State, regardless of the fact he's still gonna be there. I don't see him going nowhere anytime soon. And if he did go somewhere, it'll be a while before you go somewhere. It'll be a while before you go. But yeah, go ahead.
Do you think, Doc, that a lot of times these rumors or things that are put out there for public consumption is done to distract what Prime is doing in JSU?
I feel like, as far as what you said, like the distractions, as far as like all the with the coaches getting fired with the Power 5 schools coming,
that they're putting that they're putting out that he wants to go to or to leave Jackson State to go to a Power 5. You think it's putting up maybe the boosters of the SEC because he took the number one player in the country and he took a top receiver in Coleman and 4 and 5 stars are transferring to look to go to Jackson or going to Jackson State. So obviously, not say obviously, potentially they're threatened by this and they're seeing what he's building. So let's try to put a wrench into his plans and throw speculation out there for him that like he's going somewhere where we know he's not going somewhere. So, manipulation has a face in many ways.
I look at it as a scare tactic. I look at it as some like to deter, well, yeah, he's in line for this job and to get interviewed for this job and to get interviewed for this job, but it's at the end of the day, it's all on Prime. What he wants to do. If he wants to stay at Jackson State, he'll stay at Jackson State. If he wants to stay at Jackson State for 20 years, he'll stay at Jackson State for 20 years.
And you probably know, living in Dallas area, when they said that he was interviewing for the TCU job, where the man was in the hospital fighting for his life. So you know what I mean? A lot of things were put out that were false. It was a false narrative.
Nah, it wasn't false. He did say that it was true that he got interviewed for that job at TCU. But I knew they weren't gonna go for I knew that in a sense.
Okay, so let's okay, you said that he did say I might have missed that because the time that they were saying that he was in the hospital.
Well, yeah, he was in the hospital, but you can still have a phone. You can still have a phone interview.
And his condition where he was, you know what I mean? Where he was,
But this is before. I think this was before he
the
amputation and stuff like that. I think this was when he kind of rushed himself to get back out there on the field. But he did, he did talk to them as far as basically about the job. And to me, it wasn't the fact that he was gonna get the job. It was just the fact that you do that to build up, you build up your portfolio. Like, yeah, I had a Power 5 school call me as about a head coaching position that's open. So it's like basically you getting your portfolio ready, because then now you could take that to the AD, to Ashley Robinson, and say, hey, they looking at me. What you gonna do about it? And that's it. That's all it is. It's leverage. In all negotiating, that's all that is. That's leverage. But we neither here nor there. When you talking about who is Swac, you know what I'm saying? Like, Prime is Swac. Did he go to a Swac school? No. But he at one. He coaching one. And the last time I checked,
his AD said he Swac.
He said what?
His AD says he Swac.
Oh yeah. But little that I know that since last year, they ain't not lost one Swac game. Last year. Do you count that spring season? I don't really want to count the spring season, but it goes towards
that was exhibition season. That was like preseason.
It goes towards his record, but he
don't count it.
You play how many Swac schools we play? You play Fan, Graham, Valley, Bama State. That's 4 right there.
And he played who else others he played the first game he played, he beat the socks off him.
Yeah, FAMU, yeah. But since last year, they went 8-0 in the Swac. They went 8-0. They 3-0 right now. Since last year, they ain't lost a Swac game. They haven't lost a Swac game since last year.
Lavelle Jones.
And I don't see no other team that would give them any other problem except for Campbell and maybe Southern. But Campbell is next week, and we'll talk about that next week.
The week after. No, this week is
Southern is the week after on the 29th.
This week is Bethune-Cookman, right?
Bethune-Cookman.
Then Campbell.
Yeah.
Southern.
This that Jalen Jones game, man.
Yeah, that Jalen Jones revenge game. That's what they say.
So from Aubrey Miller for being disqualified.
Hold on, Brian. Dude said, how you know he talked to them outside media reports? Because he said it from his own mouth that he. Go ahead, man.
All right, man. So I went ahead and sent that text message to your phone. What you gotta do is click on that.
Okay, you got it. Okay, I'm waiting.
Yes, I went ahead and text you that text message.
Okay, just one. Hold on.
My bad. But yeah, he asked me how I know. Like,
but like I said, I remember. I'm now when I see Ken's show, I'm gonna call in or write. That's because I don't remember him saying that. I remember that he said that he had talked.
I know she didn't turn the heat on, bro.
You'll get a $10 auto pay and paperless.
Hold on. But man, he's been like. My thing with this is that he even said it in the documentary that he did get that call from TCU while he was in the hospital.
I don't remember that. I'm gonna have to go back over that.
It was out there, but you good, Sean?
You got my new auto pay or I don't know.
No, Sean's on something else right now.
You got going on.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Coach Franklin.
Nah. I was working, bro. You know.
Oh, my bad.
Nah, you good.
Ask God. Did he read the question there? Maybe.
Did you read the question from earlier?
Let me see the one about Coach. But how you know he talked to them outside media reports
about the TCU job?
The TCU job was pretty much speculation, but you would consider that he would have conversations because the Dallas news people reported it. This is during the time that he's fighting a foot injury, so he hasn't really said much about that, but he has expressed before that there were teams that he have interviewed, that he did interview for while he was last year. So it's no different than this year. You have people that call, inquire, and want to interview him.
Yeah.
And he's available for those interviews, and he's going to look at the circumstances, and if they fit him, you know what I'm saying, he may consider them. He's not going to not interview. He's going to always move forward.
Yeah.
But his thing is how committed is, you know, to him right now. He's committed to taking Jackson State to another level, and the energy that he continues to get is inspiration for him to continue to do that, because the way people behave, and that gives him the opportunity to do those things. So I just look at it like this, man. Like, while people so caught up in if he interviewed for this or if he didn't interview for that, think about your career, your life, and your job. If you got kids, you got family, you got, you know what I'm saying, responsibilities, it is in your best responsibility to always move forward or up and not lateral. So why in the hell are you worried about a coach who has an opportunity to propel himself to a higher level and get there, and he's building a resume for himself? It's different if the school put him on to the success that he's inherited. It's different. But if you came to a school, and because you came to that school, you brought with you a rebranding, so to say, right? You brought with you a swag, so to say. Man, you're going to just keep on building off your own legacy, man. That's what he's doing. He building his legacy on his own merit, on his own term, on his own recognition. He ain't getting no approval from nobody who got an opinion about him. Right. He ain't calling Alabama State asking him if he got permission to do this. He ain't calling the Swac commissioner asking him if he got permission to do this. He stayed within the confines of what he needs to stay within the confines of the rules. And everything else he does it with the approval of the AD, who he has a great relationship with, that allows all of this stuff to come into fruition. Because at the end of the day, him being a marketing genius and learning the strategies and the ins and outs on how he want to do things to keep JSU, the school, the program, in front of kids' faces, he does it. You got to give it up to him. Nobody else is making that kind of noise. You know, no one is making that kind of noise. He's taking a FCS, HBCU, forgotten conference, and I'm saying forgotten because people knew HBCU football existed, but they weren't paying attention to it. And we saw the level of play from the spring season to the fall season to this season change. You had new talent, everybody upgraded, everybody is doing got better athletes, trying to raise their level of play. Now the coaches got to raise their level of coaching, their level of recruiting, and their level of commitment to what they got going on. So there's a different aura going around with all 12 SWAC schools. And you got to appreciate that. For those who not making moves, feel sorry for you. But none of this stuff happens if Ashley Robinson doesn't interview Deion Sanders, which probably was a conversation. Let me put this on you. Which was probably a conversation when he was at Prairie View before becoming the AD at Jackson State.
Yeah.
When did he become AD at Jackson State?
2019.
Right. So in 2019, what was Deion Sanders doing?
Shit, racking up state championships at Trinity Christian.
So he was racking up state championships at Trinity Christian, and AD Ashley Robinson was looking into an AD job, and he had an interest of who he wanted for head coaches, and he began the interviewing process, and just so luckily had called Deion Sanders before all of this, and then he ends up landing him in late November. It's interesting.
Yeah.
That was his coach. That was his coach the whole time, bro.
He knew what he wanted, and that's the crazy thing. If you really think about it, like, he knew what he wanted. He was dead set on trying to get Prime to come to the school.
That was his coach the whole time. All the energy to come with him. All the energy. Remember, how long did Deion Sanders leave NFL Network? Go back to 2019 and tell me if you've seen him.
He left NFL Network Had to be like 20. Had to be like 2012, 2013.
No.
He let the earlier.
Later now.
Go look for Deion Sanders on NFL Network.
Mm-hmm.
Go look for Deion Sanders on any other major network. In 2019.
In 2019, he was gone.
Yeah.
He was still he wasn't doing the.
He wasn't doing he wasn't on no TV no more.
He wasn't on no TV. He was just focused on his boys.
But you sure that he was just focused on his boys, or he knew he had the opportunity in front of him?
I think he had both.
But if you remember on the Rick Eisen show, when he interviewed for FSU, and or just before, and Rich said, and he said he'll be coaching college, and he said where, and he said I can't really say, and he said but I will be coaching a college next year. I would be a head coach of a college.
He did say that. Bro, we ain't that serious. Come on now, man. We is not that serious. It's just the fact that all the stuff that happened over the weekend, it ties into what's going on.
Y'all ain't talking about which hospital. Nah. We stick to the subject around here, bro. What's the subject? Tell a man what the subject is.
What the subject? The show seen around the Swac. Who is Swac? Who is the Swac?
So that's the topic. So
that's the topic at hand. I'm aware with Prime because oh my God.
This is ridiculous.
Y'all know Prime rep Fort Myers, Florida like that. Yeah. But we also did talk about the Prairie View Southern pregame brawl too. We can get back on that. And like I said, I'll show y'all the video. Hey, Prairie View had all that fight in the pregame, but they couldn't do it during the game. Like they couldn't.
I'm just curious if there's going to be some suspensions, which there should be levy suspensions.
It will. Sure. It will. Amber said the topic is crime. So that's the topic. I seen it over there.
Matter of fact, I think on the stream tonight, somebody wrote that they've been approved. The city council has approved the new stadium.
Yes, that was done earlier today.
You being an alumni of JSU, where will they build that? On campus?
Yeah, it will be on campus. You just have to set aside some land to where it can go on campus.
And how big you think the stadium should be? 35, 40?
Me, in my opinion, I probably go for like 35, about 30, 39.5.
With luxury boxes.
With luxury boxes.
What?
Yeah, like
well, hold on. You talking about building a stadium on Jackson State campus and seating less than 40,000 people?
I mean, well, what I'm saying is you have you got some stadiums, you have stadiums that they build it to where they start off with a low number, but they have the advantage to expand it later on, later down the line. It's kind of like I give you for example, Prairie View has their stadium seats like 16,000, but it can go up to like 25. They could add 10,000 extra seats in there, and they can expand it later on down the line if they want to.
What was the average last year? Was it 40,000?
Our average last year, as far as attendance goes,
yes, sir.
Yeah, I think we had like 44,000. You say you need say it needs to be 40K minimum.
It needs to be 50.
You sure? Well, yeah. I mean,
how many? Okay, so look, it needs to be 50 with the ability to add another 20,000 seats if necessary. Why am I saying that? Is because if the inspirations in Deion Sanders' contract is to move JSU move JSU up, and his pay will increase, and all of those other things come into play, then he now has an opportunity to get into one of those conferences where he makes some more money. The budget opens up for the football program. He still got donors. He's still getting people to help him fund and get stuff built. Now he has political leverage and power. That brings that brings an infrastructure to the campus of JSU, but also into the city, which allows the city to be able to make not the $3 million that they normally would make, but in a weekend, but potentially $10 million in a weekend off of games, and 10 to 15 million. Now think about that in Jackson society. That means you got more people making more money, doing more. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
You got to think of just thinking here for a second, and Deion I think is 55, I believe. So if they're going to build a stadium, probably the stadium, depending when they break ground, they've been approved. But sometimes, when things have been approved, they don't start until maybe a year or two down the line. So if that's the case, he'll be 57. If they broke it next year, he's 56. So if he stays 10 years, he'll be 66. How long do you think he will coach? As long as he's healthy, obviously. But that's going to be the criteria. If it's, if Deion's going to be there when it opens, and then after, it's a great legacy for him to leave behind.
He already told you he ain't trying to coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's a wrap. That's a wrap for him.
Yeah.
So if he wants to continue coaching beyond Shedeur Sanders, then he would have to be in position to get a surefire talent similar to his son, which would mean that this recruiting cycle, I'm talking about 2023, he's looking to land a 4-star quarterback.
What about that kid from that coach from
Bartolone? California? Bartolone already brought in. Yeah, he's red shirting, didn't he?
Yeah. Was it California or Utah?
Utah, one of them. He's from out west. Yeah. But either way, he knows how to run the system. But still, what I'm saying to you is that the 23 recruiting season is important because Shedeur will be a junior. And that's the right time that a high-profile quarterback could come in and compete for a starting job with that quarterback, who should be, by the time Shedeur leaves, should be a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, which will means that you got reliable competition at that point. But I would expect by that time you see an influx or an upgrade in talent that's far beyond that. They may be in another conference at that time. They may have already moved up, and if you give him that move up with that type of recruiting budget, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, I believe you on that one. So
we're just speaking hypotheticals here right now, and
lobbing his feelings, boy. I ain't never seen.
I'm gonna say it like this: we did deserve a stadium before Prime, and we got there. And don't get me wrong.
Absolutely, yeah. You ain't putting a stadium on Prime.
That's not even being sarcastic. We needed a stadium before that.
Right? Who the hell is gonna say that they didn't need no stadium before Prime? That's correct. But I don't know. Maybe they just take the vet, and if they get the right, don't they got the rights to it?
Yeah, we got the rights to
it.
We had the
so
rights to it.
once you just remodel the vet.
That's what I was always saying.
Outside.
Kind of
go outside in. Now hold up, because you can upgrade it. It's just like a house. It's just like a house.
Yeah.
Just do the remodeling. Get everything the way you need to, and you there.
But doesn't the hospital want that land, Doc?
If they can afford to pay for it.
Yeah. So the thing about it is, if you're gonna remodel the vet, you do it like how USC did Memorial Stadium. I think last year. So basically after the last game of the season, if you're going to remodel the vet after the last game of the season, you will want to go ahead and start doing what you need to do. You might take some seats out, you might upgrade it, or you basically, if you're gonna upgrade the vet, the main things you're gonna need to upgrade is the lighting, the press box, the concourse, and pretty much some of the stadium seating, because you would want it to like you would want it to be like modern times. That stadium is 71 years old. That stadium is 71 years old. Like, you would want to remodel it. Like, if you're gonna refurbish the vet, you would want to kind of take a look at, like I said, what USC did last year. Let me see what he said. You can't build businesses around the vet the way you can at JSU campus, where the campus owns the land, and you can start putting up places to entertain folks before and after the game. And that's true. That's true, Mr. Lumumba.
So you want people on campus? You want people on campus? This is not like, okay, for instance, this is not like Vanderbilt, right? Because on the outside of Vanderbilt is West End. West End got all the restaurants, hotels galore. They got all of that.
Yeah.
That's outside the campus, off of Main Street. So you don't have that on campus at JSU, where you have a main street going through the campus, where you're going to build a stadium.
Yeah.
And you can put thriving businesses on the opposite side of the street, because it's still going to be on campus, and you ain't going to have all that on campus.
Oh yeah, he did. We did. I forgot they did this, and this what happened when I was in school. They did start buying the land around the school. They did start buying, like, houses, or were dilapidated, nobody lived in it or anything like that, and get ready to be demolished. Yeah, we did. They did buy that up, and they bought it. They bought it for cheap, if I remember about it.
Because for more revenue, you definitely need restaurants, hotels around your the facility.
Yeah, because if you go to the school, so like if you go, everybody that went to Jackson State, y'all know how it is. You go behind the school, you get on Terry Road. The closest hotel is downtown Jackson. Like, the closest, like, nicest hotel is in downtown Jackson. So that's like probably like a 5-10 minute. That's like a 5-minute drive from downtown anyway. Really think about it, but
people like always where stadiums, people like close proximity, have restaurants, hotels, and stuff like that. Walking distance, you know what I mean? You don't want to like driving, you just walk from point A to point B. That usually for a better commerce too, right?
You could cut, you could cut out everything on Terry Road. Everybody know that. So in a sense, I understand, like, Mr. Lumumba, I understand what you're saying is that I put it for example. So like I said, I stay in Dallas, and so you go to Arlington, where you have the sports venue and you have an entertainment venue. So you have the old ballpark, which is Choctaw Stadium, that's going to be used by the XFL, and is used by Arlington Independent School District for high school football games. Then across the street, you have the new ballpark, Globe Life Field. That's where the Rangers play. Right next to Globe Life Field, on the same side, is Texas Live. Across from Texas Live, they're building a hotel I don't know when it's supposed to be open, but they're building a hotel, and then you go like one more block down, and you got AT&T Stadium. So I understand. I really kind of understand where you're coming from, because like you want to keep everything. You want to keep everything within Jackson.
So if you build a new stadium, do you build a new basketball facility and you build all of that next to each other?
Well, shoot, we can't build it.
Look at where the practice field at. Look at where the practice field at, because you want it as close to your facilities, as possible.
Yeah, but see, back then the baseball field used to be by the AAC, and then they took the old baseball field, they demolished it, and put the School of Engineering building right there, and the baseball field is in the back, where all your basically, like you said, the practice facilities and everything is at by the Walter Payton Center. So.
So also, they're going to be would they probably have to build new housing, because you're probably looking for the recruitment for the
your attendance keep going up, bro. You need you know what I'm saying, that land that they got to build some off-campus apartments.
Got to build off-campus apartments
and on-campus apartments.
Yeah, I mean, if
a lot of building has to happen, bro.
Yeah.
Because you're going to listen to me. It's the prime effect. You're going to inherit an extra 5,000 to 10,000 kids.
Yep.
At that school that's gonna need places to stay, or it might be even more than that. So then your attendance go all the way up. Now you got kids doing, paying all of this. Now you got extra money coming in for sure, because you have recruited new kids.
Right.
And your facilities got to be able to help put them in position. You already got the coaches. If Mo Williams can turn it around and get the boys to competing in the Swac and potentially going into the NCAA tournament, you will have a foundation athletically, because don't they got like a good baseball?
Yeah.
Golf?
Yep.
Okay. So tennis, they ain't that good.
What's that?
Tennis, they ain't that good.
But you got women's soccer.
Yeah, there you go. Women's soccer. But you see where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Right. All of that has to be upgraded. Because
did they do the tennis didn't they do the new tennis facility, like tennis courts? Can they do?
Yeah, that's easy work. Tennis courts, easy work. That ain't nothing but, you know what I'm saying, you could spray that down. That's easy work. Paint the fences and get your brand new net. It look like you ain't never had no concrete right there.
Pretty much. Make sure y'all like the stream, y'all. Make sure y'all like the stream. Become a member.
But that's what you're looking at. You're looking at to up. I agree with what Lumumba's saying wholeheartedly. I agree with that. I mean, you do want it on campus. It would be nice. But do you expand? Well, you can't expand all the way down there. You got so much in the way. Listen, let me put it to you like this.
Wait.
Belmont University and Vanderbilt have been competing in my neighborhood for real estate since I was a kid. I watched Belmont expand. Belmont has bought a lot of land from people that been living there for 20 years. Parents done died. The kids end up selling the houses, and now they remodeled those houses and use those houses for their teachers and stuff like that. Right, for faculty, right? So their faculty lived in residences, so they don't have to pay for residences. Part of the accommodations is being a teacher at the facilities, right? So they got a lot on Ackland. They got a lot of that going on right now. My family friends, real close family friends, are blocking them from doing even more because they want like $2-3 million to get up out of that way. And it's smart because all they gonna do is demolish it and build some extra stuff right there, and then try to take over the whole street. However, gentrification has already pushed enough people out, so all they doing is expanding their campuses. Right? They're using residential homes as off-campus living, not only for faculty but the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And building up. So everything that they building as far as the facilities of the school, they just building it up. They adding on top of what they already built. So it looked like New York pretty much. How they just stacking up to the sky the way they building the buildings, and they're able to expand it out like that, and without taking up so much more room, and you can get people going in and out of those classrooms and stuff like that pretty easily, pretty quickly, because you got multiple elevator stairs and yada yada yada.
Right.
That means the whole campus would need to be remade in order for what Lumumba is trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, like I mean, before then it took time. Like I remember before when I left, we still had the street going through campus. Where before it stopped at the plaza. And when I came back, after I left, well, right before I left, I remember they started taking the street out, the street out, because they was like, well, we're gonna make this a walk-through campus. And by the time I come back to come visit, it's already laid out with brick on the ground that is, everybody's walking on top of the street that, I used to drive my car around and blasting the music.
But you know what? Go ahead.
No, but it's it's gonna. I mean, everything takes time,
and it's going to be a major project because let's not forget about the water infrastructure. That has to be all changed. I mean, if you're going to build a new stadium, new facilities as far as housing, that infrastructure for the pipelines, that all has to be changed and modernized. So you're not going to run into the same issues every 4 to 5 years or something like that, because it seems like every year there's an issue with the water. Last year, frozen pipes. This year, contaminated water because of the floods and stuff like that. So that infrastructure has to be changed. This is going to be a major overhauling of Jackson.
I mean, don't hurt to start it now. No. It don't hurt to start. It don't hurt to start it now.
And you know how obviously you know how that state is hoarding on the money not to be distributed to the city of Jackson. So maybe
it's not just to be distributed to the city of Jackson. It's to be distributed to everybody in the state. Yeah. The state rather see themselves rather see Mississippi choke itself out before they give a damn dime to it.
Yeah, you keep telling me that.
I keep saying it.
Maybe Prime could call Brett.
Maybe boy, he ain't calling Brett Favre.
They played on the same team with the Falcons. Maybe they call Brett.
Not calling Brett Favre. And I believe you, Solo. It's coming down the pipeline. It's gonna come down the pipeline for real. Yeah. He ain't calling no damn Brett Favre. That man ain't calling Brett Favre for nothing. So, but man, I'm gonna go ahead and get this winded down.
Hey, he meant Maul. Lumumba meant Maul, and I do agree with you there. Yeah, Maul would work some wonders, but that's a different conversation, bro. I don't think that Jackson would get them all. I don't know. You can't never say that, because shoot, if you bring in enough money, man, some big investor or just invest in an area, buy up some land and just build a mall right there, and then next thing you know, you got an influx of more money. All of this is about money. If you put money in a black city like that, then they gain political power and political pressure, which threatens the stability of white supremacy and white power in the state of Mississippi. Mm-hmm. You can't have a little Atlanta in Mississippi.
Nope.
And that's what That's what Lumumba's pushing for. Lumumba's pushing for a little Atlanta in Jackson, Mississippi.
I don't blame him,
that would be cold blooded. You know what I'm saying? That'd be beautiful because if you them downtown streets are raggedy as hell. It's small downtown, but you know those old buildings and those empty little places where you can just start turning them into residences and clean up the streets down there. Then you can drive in an influx of money of people who who have 6-figure salaries or somewhere around in that area could live downtown, and then that will push. But once again, that's playing with the white people's influence.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, like I'm gonna give you an example. Like here in Dallas, I was at Dallas, Redbird Mall. Back then it was thriving. It was like in Jackson, it's like Metro Center. The real thing about it. So Redbird, the first thing that they did to try to do the gentrification of Redbird, basically they changed the name from Redbird to Southwest Center. They changed the name from Redbird Mall to Southwest Center Mall, and basically they like all the big chain stores started moving out towards Cedar Hill, started moving out towards Grand Prairie, started moving out towards Waxahachie. They it moved out, and so basically what happened was the mall just was dying from the inside. And from what I remember, I don't know who the guy's name is, but what he did was not only did he buy the mall, he bought every piece of property that was surrounding the mall. Something that like old barbershops that was closed down. I remember it was a barbershop across the street from the mall that was owned by Spud Webb. For some reason, I don't know why he left, but it's sat empty. So basically what this man did was bought everything. If you know where Redbird Mall is in Dallas, if you've been to Redbird Mall in Dallas, you know it's from 67 Highway 67 on Camp Wisdom all the way to Westmoreland. He bought the property from the corner of Camp Wisdom and 67, where the Shell gas station sits at, and bought it all the way to where damn Chuck E. Cheese is on Westmoreland, on that corner. Then he bought it from where if you go on Westmoreland, where the Social Security office used to be at, he bought all that. What he did over there was he built mixed income kind of like luxury apartment townhomes and stuff like that. He built that. They built that over there, and it's people living over there now. So now what they also did too with the mall was basically say, okay, we want to bring business back into the mall. What they do, they put a call center on the second floor of Redbird. It's called Chime Solutions. Not to be confused with Chime Bank, but it's called Chime Solutions. They're based out of Georgia. They have I think 5 call centers, and one is in Dallas at Redbird Mall. And basically, people come in, they bring in, you come in and you work inside of a mall, you're gonna bring money when you go on your breaks and your lunch breaks, and when you get ready to leave from work, you're gonna come downstairs, you're gonna want to try to buy something, especially on a Friday when you know you ain't got to go to work on a Saturday. You want to try to go out and look fly. Yep, yeah, I tell you that, Mr. Lumumba. Yeah, they can. It can be something like that with Deep Element and Lower Greenville. It can be like that. Even the West End, you can do it like that. But what he also did was the old anchor stores that was the anchor department stores that used to occupy Redbird Mall. One side was Sears. They put UT Southwestern on that side where Sears is. On the back side was Dillard's. Dillard's is now Parkland, part of Parkland. So he's basically trying to say, well, if you're going to revitalize this mall, you're going to revitalize this neighborhood, we need the people to come back to the mall, to this mall, and to this neighborhood. So what they do, like I said, they put medical facilities inside the mall on the anchors. So that way you can get people, if people are sick, they ain't have to go, they don't have to go to Charlton Methodist, which is on Wheatland in 67. They ain't have to go to that hospital. They could go right there at Redbird Mall to get treated. It's not a trauma center, but they can still get treated if they're sick. And it's working, and they're still redeveloping that mall because they see a future in it. Like, nobody wanted that mall to die. I done spent plenty of times as a teenager going to the mall, being there 4-5 hours. It used to be movie theaters on both sides, and going to the movie theater and hopping, movie hopping. So so Jackson State and Jackson have the ability, they have the cash, they have the money to do everything they can to bring. Come on, D-Live, you crazy.
But
it all ties into it.
It's all relevant.
Money,
it's all
we
relevant.
have the cachet, we have all the ability, we have the tools to do what we talking about.
Our conversations are fluid.
We have the ability to do what we're talking about. It just, nah, you good. Nah, we good. I'm not mess. I mess with everybody, but you know what I'm saying. I know if you step out of line, it's a whole different story.
D-Love, we love
them. But like y'all see, like I said, that's how big the prime effect is. That's how big it is. Jackson is just like every other city that got a big black population. If you really think about it, look at New Orleans. It took a storm to try to drive out most of the black people in New Orleans, and they bringing it back. They're revitalizing their city. We could do the same thing, try to revitalize a city and a section of the city on the west side to bring something that says it's ours. The state don't own it. The city don't own it. Jackson State owns it. Ferris is another issue that Mississippi College is blocking. Yeah, man. Ferris Street, if you in Jackson, ain't no Jackson without Ferris Street. Like, for real. If you really think about it. And if anybody want to jump on, y'all can jump on. But ain't no Ferris Street. Ain't no Jackson without Ferris Street. Ferris Street, when you got that festival, man, I done seen probably about 100,000 people at that festival. If y'all want to jump on, y'all can jump on. We got the money, we got the cachet and the power to do it. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, Pine Bluff, Baton Rouge. I mean, everybody could do better. We all can do better, man. We all can do better. We just got to get that crab in the barrel, you know what I'm saying, crab in the bucket mentality out of us. That's pretty much it. If we get that crab in the bucket mentality out of us, man, it's so much we can accomplish out here.
If we can be fists instead of fingers.
Pretty much. But we gonna go ahead. Yeah, we do need one or two good. So basically, let's start it with this. Like I said, well, we got Bethune-Cookman on Saturday. Next weekend is homecoming, so we got Campbell, so that could be one right there. Next year is Texas State. The year after that is Louisiana Monroe. We keep building on to that. We can be major players in this thing in FCS. We just got to make sure that we go out there and do the job. But oh yeah, that too. Jackson State versus USM. I like that too. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this out the way. So on Thursday is the week 7 preview. So basically, I just do everything. If you're new to the channel, when I do my weekly previews of the games, I do all the games except for Jackson State. Jackson State has their own. We have our own show just for Jackson State preview game show. We have our own show for that. so like I said, week 7 previews is coming up. That's on Thursday. Friday is I Love Fridays. I Love Friday. That's at 7:30. So everybody tune into that. I will put that out there on Facebook. I'll put it out there on Twitter. I'll put it out there on Instagram. So everybody who can follow, if you want to follow me on those platforms, I'm on there all the time, and I can I basically pub all my shows to those platforms right there. I understand there's 48 people in the stream. We can like it. 48 people can become members. We on the road to 500. We close to it, but I need people to come in and make sure they become a member and subscribe. But like I said, Friday is I Love Friday, and then Saturday is my actual pregame show Saturday morning. And more likely on Saturday night I will do my postgame show. So when after the game on Saturday against Bethune-Cookman, I basically just pub it out there. I'm gonna do a post-game show Saturday night, probably around about 7:30, 8 o'clock p.m. Everybody come in, voice your opinion, tell me what you like, tell me you don't like, tell me where we need to improve at as far as the team. Just anything. We all come together. It's just like what we do right now. We all come together, we talk, we have fun. Everybody enjoyed the show. And like my wife would tell you, everybody just make sure you like the stream, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I know she sleep right now, but that's what she would do. That's what she would do. If you haven't met her, seen her in the chat, her name is Lady Holiday. So just let everybody know she is the executive producer of the show. So basically, she'll tell me, you need to take your ass to sleep because you've been on the show. You've been on the show too long, or you need to talk about this, or we need to talk about that. She's the one who told me to come up with this show right here. So in the end, I give all my shout outs to the show to her, because like I said, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing this right now. I would not be doing this right now. But anything you got to say, Brian, before we roll up out of here?
Yes, great show tonight. It was a great show. Great conversation, great insights on different things that we've seen the past week and what's happening in the future. Everybody get the likes up, subscribe, tell a friend, and don't forget to hit the cash up and keep blessing this channel because it's growing remarkably, and we really appreciate it. I know I appreciate it, just being a part on here on Tuesday nights. And only thing I gotta say, Doc, I hope you don't feel bad on Sunday when the Cowboys play the Eagles. That's all I gotta say.
Oh man, we about to roast them boys out there, man. I'm not worried about the Eagles. I'm not worried about them. But like I said, I like what we did tonight. It was a good show. It was I ain't even gonna say good show. It was a great show tonight. You know, it was a great show. I love the energy. I love all the feedback that was in the chat. I love all that. We need to make sure that we continue that, and we need to make sure. I feel like this. If I have this many people on the show just for Jackson State, how about we keep that same energy on Thursday night when I do my pregame show, and then on Friday when I do the JSU DI Love, or even on Mondays when I do my review show, or on Saturday when I do the post game.
I see the momentum. The momentum is growing, and people are catching on. I was on another watching another show tonight. I think the guys from ASU, the young boys there, and I put on watch. You know what I mean? HBCU OverDrive. And I think it was about 30 minutes before the show. I put that on, and so I know you're just doing a great job. Continue the hard work, and it's just like the guy was saying. I think it was D-Love was saying, if Prime can, but nobody believed Prime, but God did.
Yeah. Thursday show. My preview show is at 7:30. So I just let everybody know I have a regular job. I am a store manager for the Liz Locker Room in Macy's at the Galleria here in Dallas. So I have a regular job. So I mostly be at job from 10:30, 11 o'clock, all the way to 6:30, 7 o'clock. So it takes me about 15 minutes to get home, get myself ready for the show, and boom, I present the show. I might not be too much fluent with how I do my show, but I try to get it to the point where people will understand and people will love the show. But I'm not saying this to be condescending. I'm not saying this to be condescending or anything like that. I'm just letting everybody know I do, like I said, I do have an actual job. Now, if the good Lord blesses me, I would love to be my own boss and do this all day, every day.
Well, the good Lord has definitely blessed you with a great family, and He's continued to bless you on a daily basis.
So yeah,
just keep your eye on the prize, and you know what? And always remember, have your faith be always bigger than your fear.
That's right. So I'm gonna give a shout out to my kids, because they get on my nerves sometimes, but even my little one, she be like, "Ooh, Daddy, I seen you on your show. You talk too much." That's all right though. This is what I love to do. But she understands where it's coming from, why I like to do this. My mama, she knows the same thing. And some people, when we go on a homecoming, I'll be in homecoming next week. So I'm doing my Thursday night show and my Friday and the pregame show on Saturday at Jackson at homecoming. So everybody that's gonna be there at homecoming, y'all come pull up to your boy. So basically, my mom, she's another big supporter for me, and she sits down and she looks at the show and she'll tell me like, "Baby, you did good, baby. I don't know what the hell you was talking about. You was doing good." That's what she tell me sometimes. Even my siblings, they look at the show. My cousins, they got my cousin that he in Silver Springs, Maryland. He don't miss a show. He'll tell me. He'll call me. He say, "Hey, I love the show." So
get some great comments on here.
So okay, who is Swac? Yeah, Prada. Who's Swac? Who is Swac? I think who is Swac? Swac is a state of mind. I think that's what it is. Swac is a state of mind.
As long as it's not whack, you know who's Swac.
So, but again, like I said, we're gonna be, I'll be there on next week, trying to get into all the festivities and stuff like that. and still doing my job as far as doing the shows and stuff like that. And I love doing this, but well, I'm about to go ahead and call it a night because sir, you on the East Coast, ain't you?
Yes, sir, indeed.
Yeah, it's about time.
It's 12:35 my time.
See. But again, man, I thank y'all for coming on to the show. Brian, Sean, thank y'all for coming on every Tuesday. Where we get to talk about anything and everything that has to do with HBCU sports and the culture. Now, next week, for HBCU Tonight, I probably will have my boy HBCU Band Talk. We're gonna do some bands up in here. We ain't gave love to the bands in a while. I haven't gave love for bands in a while. So I hit him up on Twitter and I told him, man, we need to do a show with nothing but straight bands. So I'm gonna bring him on the stream next week, and we're gonna do some critiquing of the bands. All right. So y'all tune into that. Y'all tune into that on next Tuesday for that.
And are you still working on getting some more player interviews?
I'm working on trying to get some more player interviews. I I hit up Dallas Daniels, haven't gotten a word back from him yet, but hey, I'll still go ahead and try to get some more people on the show as far as anybody in Black college football. Anybody, in fact, anybody in Black college sports. So that's what we try to do. But that's my guy Brian right there. My boy Sean was that's on the stream. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all for coming on. I'm your boy Doc Holliday. This is another HBCU OverDrive live show, aka HBCU Tonight. I will see y'all not tomorrow, unless something really important comes up tomorrow, but on Thursday. So I will see y'all on Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. and we will get into the week 7 previews going on from there. All right. Everybody have a good night. Everybody have a blessed night. I will see y'all on Thursday. All right. Peace.